You think this kinda sucks? Johnny Plastic thinks for what? Johnny Plastics, we're selling out, Johnny Plastics, we're selling out, yeah. Johnny Plastics, sell out.
This is Danny and Andrew in Inside the Van, where we have some interesting topics we'd like to talk to you about today.
While eating chips, Ruffles queso.
Which some people have argued tastes like throw-up we find especially delicious.
Especially.
Scrumptious. And there are some kids tapping on the door.
Hello.
Is the football up there, Danny?
The football is not up here, Nate.
Nate, you're interrupting our TV show!
Come on, Nate.
I'm just kidding.
We're just kidding. We love you,
I
man.
love you. Don't cry. Don't cry. That was
Alright,
Nate
back to the
Kurtz.
show.
Back to the show. So, Andrew, how do you think the house is looking today?
You know what? I think it's doing very well. I think our house is a little behind, but, I think we'll be able to come up. We don't have the parallel bars down yet, but my dad's working on the, whatever that's called, Danny.
On the outside of that. Let's go to the illustrator.
Yeah.
You see, we've got the X's and the O's right here. And what your dad is doing is working on the O's on this side of the house instead of this side of the house.
Indeed, Danny, indeed.
And he is putting the boards up parallel,
Yes.
not longitudinal ways.
Not longitudinal ways. But the other house does not have their complete stucco, which we did before we left yesterday, and I don't think they will be able to complete because they have ran out.
And I know I've said this before, but these queso ruffles are scrumptious.
And delicious. Now, Danny, what do you think about the new bandana fashion?
The new bandana fashion is this year's new Capri's craze.
Indeed. Indeed.
Everyone's got one. Everyone's wearing one.
It's just, it defines how you do wear
In
one.
Mexico. You see, not only do they provide a style of fashion, but they also provide
Shade.
protection and shade from sunburns on the neck,
Scalp.
or facial area. Mainly your head.
Mainly your head.
Chad, here is our guest speaker, Chad Traxler. Chad Traxler, come on in here.
Chad?
1 second, please.
Alright.
Chad goes to Baylor University, where he plays football and plans on going pro or being a model for underwear. Because let's face it, have you seen his body? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And
Here
here
comes
comes our
Bevan
youth
Hurst.
minister, where we're probably going to get in trouble for talking and taking a break.
Oh, well.
Bevan, we've got a few questions we'd like to ask you.
Alright, I'll be glad to answer.
Alright.
Alright. This is like the Diane Reeves show, but with normal voices.
Diane Reeves, Joe.
What do you think the situation on the weather in the house is going to look like today?
I think it'll be mostly sunny, lots of cheeriness, and no wind.
It's gonna be
No
a good time.
wind and no wind, okay.
Hotter than Hades.
My second question is, do you think Chad will be a football player or model?
A model football player.
Oh! Touche, touche.
Mr. January.
Mr. January, in fact.
Well, Bevan, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. We appreciate it.
Might I have some toilet paper now?
Oh, yes. Where would it be?
In that back of pockets. Ah, yes.
And we're back with Chad Traxler.
Hey, Chad,
The
how's it
future model football player, Mr. January, if you will. Chad, could you give us a little preview of what's to come in January?
Oh.
Whoa! Outstanding.
Yowzers. Chad, would you like a delicious queso ruffle?
No, it'll hurt my physique.
Spoken like a true model football player.
Machine like that can't
Now let's go to the Calistrator once again. And you see Chad, as he flexed his muscles, as so, he points this way, pointing to a bunch of corn. And then he points this way at the house we're building, with the X's and O's.
See, the cornfield is not yet complete yet, so we don't know why he's pointing that way.
But anyways, there's also a possible drug house across the street. And though there may be a drug house across the street, we are in no real danger. Which brings us to our next point, the crocodile hunter. Why are we talking about him while we're in Mexico eating queso chips in a van? I don't know. But let's just say that guy brought a lot of joy to our hearts.
Indeed.
And a lot of laughter to our souls.
Now, he said he was in no real danger when he went and swam with the stingrays, but
Well, his wife, which I don't know her name, but I like to call her Barbara, because it sounds better in Australian accent. Barbara had a... Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? A harpoon gun. Yes,
Harpoon gun.
she had a harpoon gun that was not loaded. It was just for show to scare the stingrays and showed that they meant business.
But we all know that didn't work. Now, this brings us to our next topic of the cross crew.
The cross crew.
I believe every member of the cross crew is now in the car.
Yes. And yes. We do this because in Mexico, it's very hot and very sunny.
Indeed, indeed.
And we put the shape of a cross on our forearms. Or just arms.
Forearms, arms, what's the difference?
Jaguars.
What's the difference?
Yeah, on the Jaguars. We put them on the Jaguars.
The Jaguars, the Panthons, and the guns.
The guns.
I think I said Panthons, but I meant to say Pythons. I don't know. It's hard to talk when you're concentrating on these scrumptious queso ruffles.
See, we all have different names for our biceps because they're all different shapes and forms. See, Chad's are just all over huge, so they're called guns. Mine only come out at night, so they're called the Jaguars.
And mine are called the Pythons because they are both strong and fast.
And fast. Now,
I'm running out of topics.
yeah, music. Me and Danny will be playing the guitar today while everyone else is singing for the christening of the house, I believe is what it's called.
And you do not christen this house like you do a shit by hitting it with a bottle.
And it's raining.
Yeah, it's raining? Oh, great.
That could have effect on our crosses.
That could indeed. And our roofing.
And our roofing, which is halfway up.
I used to have what they would like to call as an eating disorder. I used to grab bear claws.
As a kid, two at a
and I get
time.
them lodged right in this area.
And that's when he started working out.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. And thank you for tuning into Mexico in the Van Eating Queso Ruffles show.
Goodbye.
And cut.